Well, thank you for joining us on GLC Math. This lesson we're looking at expanding and simplifying algebraic differences, and I believe this is 3 because there may be 2 others previously recorded. So let's have a look at a slight difference to what has already been done, and we will start with, say, a quadratic equation. 3x squared, 4x plus 1 minus 2x, 4x plus 1. Alright, here we have an expression where we've got a difference in the middle, and we first have to expand. So 3x squared times 4x. Well, a positive times a positive is a positive. 3 4s are 12, and x squared times x is x cubed. So notice I'm breaking it up into 3 sections, and that is whether it's a plus or a minus, the coefficient, which is the number, and then finally the variables. And so each time we make a decision. So let's look at the second one. A positive times a positive is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3. And then the variables is simply x squared and nothing else multiplying with x squared. So let's have a look at this next part. A negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 4 is 8, because 2x times 4x is 8, and the variables x times x becomes x squared. So the 3 parts are a negative times a positive is a negative, 2 4s are 8, and x times x is x squared. So that's the 3 parts that we're talking about. And finally, a negative times a positive is a negative, because it's plus 1. 2 times 1 is 2, and the variables are simply, there's an x here, but there's no variables over here. So negative 2x times 1 is negative 2x. We finished by adding like terms, and we've got a negative 12x squared, x cubed, a positive 12x cubed. We have the like terms are the x squared terms. So 3x squared minus 8x squared is negative 5x squared, or minus 5x squared. And then minus 2x. And we've finished our expanding and simplifying. Alright, let's do another one. I'll change the colour here. And let's say we've got 5x times 3x minus 7 minus 2 4x minus 5. Alright, there's quite a few negatives in here. And let's first of all go through a positive times a positive is a positive. 5x times 3x is 15x squared. So 5 3s are 15. X times x is x squared. So that's the first one done. Now for the second one, positive times a negative is a negative. 5 7s are 35, and there's this x to the power of 1 here. 5x times 7 is 35x. Now we've got this to expand, so negative times a positive is a negative. Negative 2 times 4x is 8x. And finally a negative times a negative for this last loop here is a positive. 2 5s are 10, and that's the last one. A lot of errors happen on this one because people forget to see that that's a negative 2 times a negative 5, and negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. So this is where the mistakes can happen, and which is why we're dealing with algebraic differences. We wrap this up by adding like terms. 15x squared, there's no other x squareds. The 2 terms which are alike are the negative 35x and the negative 8x, and they close to be negative 43x. You go down 35, you go down another 8, so altogether we've gone down 43 x's. And we got this plus 10, it's the constant, it's on its own. So we've looked at the skills of a negative, expanding when there's a negative times a negative. This is the trick. Be careful when it becomes a negative to be a positive. So that's the part of the question which can catch you out. I hope you've learned something. And until I talk to you again, stay happy.